Hello Tigers, and welcome to the TMNtv Newscast for Wednesday, August 1st, 2018. I'm Jaden Mount.
And I'm Haley White.
And today in your news, we have the Kansas Insurance Commissioner who is currently suing the current governor. The Facebook is facing some strange issues in the market, and I believe we've got a new coaches poll up this recently.
We do. The Tigers were picked number 2 in the coaches poll and media poll that was released Tuesday.
All right. As the primary race for the Republican nomination in the 2018 Kansas governor's election nears an end, a new battle has erupted in Topeka. Insurance Commissioner Ken Selzer and his counsel have filed a suit against current Kansas Governor Jeff Collier and others over funds scheduled to be swept from the Kansas Insurance Department to the State General Fund. Selzer and attorneys Diane Menier and Susan Elmaker filed the petition in Shawnee County on July 20th. The suit names Collier, Director of Budget Larry Campbell, and Secretary of the Department of Administration Sarah L. Shipman. According to legal documents sent by the Insurance Department to Tiger Media Network, previous Governor Sam Brownback signed the Kansas Senate substitute for House Bill 2002, authorizing the sweeping of $8 million from the Insurance Department to the General Fund for the fiscal year of 2018 and $8.1 million in 2019.
Bottom line issue is that these funds are paid by insurance agents and by companies operating in Kansas for the regulation of insurance. They're not paid to be taken into the general fund to be used for general state purposes as a tax. They're paid to be used for the regulation of insurance.
A motion has also been filed by the Commissioner for a temporary injunction to prevent additional sweeps. The hearing for that motion is scheduled for Thursday. TMN has received no response from the governor's office, and Selzer is also maintaining a firm stance that the action is not politically motivated. The primaries are less than a week away in Kansas, and no race lacks its bundle of candidates, particularly for the position of governor. Tyler Rusich is the youngest candidate running for the Republican nomination. He is 17 years old, but will be 18 by the time of the general election. Rusich's campaign for the nomination centers around his personal experience in the public school system.
I would just say it was really my experience as a public school student, being educated in the public school system, that really played a big part in me deciding to run for governor.
Rusich is also one of 2 Republican primary candidates who have received an F rating by the National Rifle Association Political Victory Fund. Such a rating suggests a candidate is a true enemy of the state, true enemy of gun owners' rights, a consistent anti-gun candidate who always opposes gun owners' rights and or actively leads anti-gun legislative efforts or sponsors anti-gun legislation. Despite this, Rusich firmly stands that he is a pro-gun candidate who supports background checks.
I told them that I'm a very, very pro-gun candidate, that I don't believe in really much more individual restrictions on, law-abiding citizens so that can pass a background check. What I believe that those law-abiding, responsible, mentally healthy citizens, they shouldn't have really any further restrictions on them.
If you would like to cast your vote for Rusich on August 7th primary, you must be a registered Republican voter and a resident of Kansas. For more information on voting in your area, contact the local Kansas Department of the Treasurer office. Investors dislike what happened late last week on Wall Street. That's because Facebook stock dropped nearly 19% after the company admitted growth was slowing after recent concerns. The stock fell by $41.24, wiping out approximately $120 billion of Facebook's stock market value. It was the largest daily loss for a public-held U.S. company in history. Another social media giant, Twitter, also reported its stock plunged late last week. The company said its users declined during the the last quarter and was expected to decline more as it purges out-face accounts. The stock fell $8.82, erasing nearly $6.6 million of the company's stock market value. According to the Tribune News Service, a meeting between President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin could happen in the near future. Trump had invited Putin to come to Washington, D.C. this fall, but the White House postponed the offer until after the first of the year. Putin has said he will come to the U.S. if the conditions are right. Instead, Trump said he is open to visiting Moscow to meet Putin for talks if he receives a formal invitation. No timetable has been set for a possible meeting. The state of California is continuing to be under siege with a rash of wildfires, and those fires have turned deadly. Tribune News Service reports 8 people have died as a result of the fires in the Chautauqua County and Yosemite National Park regions. A total of 17 wildfires continue to burn in the state, and they've combined to destroy more than 200,000 acres. Nearly 12,000 firefighters from California alone have responded to the fires, and the California National Guard has deployed 800 people and help is coming from as far away as Florida. The largest blaze, the Carr Fire, has burned nearly 100,000 acres and destroyed more than 1,000 structures. Approximately 140 additional buildings have been damaged by that fire alone. The fire was 20% contained as of Monday. While wildfires continue to cause issues in the U.S., Europe isn't immune to the same issues. Heat waves have aided in the spread of wildfires overseas. More than 80 people in Greece have died as a result of a wildfire, and at least 40 fires were burning in Sweden. Finland is also reporting multiple fires, and firefighters in Norway have been battling blazes since May. Wildfires also ravaged portions of Latvia. A University of Kansas bone hunter continues to work on excavating a huge find near Hell Creek, Montana. According to the Topeka Capital Journal, Chris Super is working with KU students and others to excavate a juvenile Tyrannosaurus rex. It is believed to be one of about a dozen juvenile T-Rex fossils to be found. Super is a Fort Hays grad and spent years hunting fossils in western Kansas while perfecting his skills. The T-Rex, which was found in 2016, is still in the process of being excavated from the Hell Creek Formation near Jordan, Montana. The process is expected to take several years before the T-Rex is on display. In the world of strange news, a Chanute man stole an ambulance and was shot as he drove away before a police chase ended a few miles away. 38-year-old Trevor L. Jones was outside the Chanute Walmart and acting erratically, according to the Tribune News Service. Responding officers called EMS to look over Jones due to his actions in the parking lot. While being evaluated by emergency personnel, Jones jumped into the ambulance, locked the doors, and took off. One officer fired several shots at Jones. About 15 minutes later, the ambulance was stopped, and Jones was found to have a general gunshot wound. He was treated for non-life-threatening injuries at area hospitals. Those are the stories making headlines in the world of news this week. After we return from this short break, we'll address what is happening in the sports world.
Yes, a charity event is bringing back the always intense KU-Mizzou rivalry.
Stay tuned.
One reason students should major in MIS is that it's a nice blend between technology and business. For MIS specifically, though, it's to improve business decision making. MIS graduates for about the past 10 years have had a 100% placement rate after graduation, which is either them continuing on to master's school or getting a job within the field.
The faculty and staff here at Fort Hays in the informatics department has helped me secure a full-time job post-graduation. They're really here to help us succeed.
I have to constantly keep up with all the evolutions and the trends so I can, bring these cutting edge or emerging technologies into the classroom so students can experience them themselves and also learn from them and be better prepared for when they graduate.
The talented prospect Lael Collins from LSU.
For a touchdown by Mike Evans.
After the best season in school history in 2017, the Fort Hays State football team is still trying to earn a bit of respect. The Tigers were picked second in the coaches poll and media poll released Tuesday at the MIAA Media Day at Children's Sporting Park in Kansas City, Kansas. FHSU went 11-1 last year, including an undefeated mark in conference play to win the MIAA title outright, the first in football history at the school. That included grabbing a 13-12 win over perennial power Northwest Missouri State on the road to clinch the title. But the Bearcats got the nod by slim margins in the coaches and media polls Tuesday. Northwest Missouri edged the Tigers by 1 point in the coaches poll despite FHSU earning one more first-place nod. In the media poll, the Tigers finished with the 13 first-place votes, one shy of the Bearcats, who were 7 points higher overall. Until FHSU snapped the Bearcats' reign in the MIAA last year, Northwest Missouri had won at least a share of the conference title for 4 straight seasons. A year ago, the Tigers were picked 5th in both preseason polls. Fort Hays State starts the season August 30th at home against Central Missouri. The Mules were picked 3rd in both preseason polls this year and even garnered two first-place votes in the coaches poll. FHSU men's basketball coach Mark Johnson announced the Tigers have signed 3 players for the upcoming season. The list includes 2 junior college transfers and a true freshman, Gilbert Peters of South Gray. Peters, a 6'6", 265-pound inside presence, guided the Rebels to the Class 1A Division I state title last season with a perfect 26-0 record. He was an all-state selection, averaging 16.6 points and 10.8 rebounds per game. He also will compete for the FHSU track and field team, and he won state crowns in the shot put and discus at the last 2 years in 1A. Freddie Batondo joins the Tigers after transferring from NCAA Division I Sam Houston State. The 6'7", 215-pound senior played in 28 games last year and made 1 start. He also played for San Jacinto College the previous season and helped the team earn the number 1 ranking in the NJCAA national tourney. Devin Davis is a 6'3", 200-pound junior transferring from Allen Hancock College. Last season, he averaged 11.2 points and 7.2 rebounds. As a freshman at Colorado Northwestern Community College, Davis averaged 13.2 points and 5.2 rebounds per game. The annual Kansas Shrine Bowl, featuring some of the state's top high school football players, turned into a tale of 2 halves Saturday night. The East team bolted out to a big lead by halftime, only to see the West squad try to rally. The West closed the gap in the second half, only to fall 21-14 in Pittsburgh. Incoming freshman Brody Kuzer of Derby had an 8-yard touchdown run for the West in the second half. The Hays Larks will begin play in the NBC World Series in Wichita on Friday. The Larks will play the Clarinda, Iowa A's at 7 p.m. at Lawrence Dumont Stadium. Also, the Larks' pool is Wellington and San Diego. The Moose was let loose. The Kansas City Royals on Friday traded third baseman Mike Moustakas for a pair of minor leaguers from Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers are in the hunt to win the NL Central crown, while the Royals are holding down the bottom in the AL Central. Moustakas was a longtime fan favorite for the Royals and played in the team's back-to-back World Series squads. He joins former KC center fielder Lorenzo Cain in Milwaukee. Kansas City received minor leaguers Brett Phillips and Jorge Lopez in the deal. Phillips is an outfielder and Lopez is a right-handed pitcher. The Royals continue to struggle this season in our neck-and-neck battle with Baltimore for the worst record in all of Major League Baseball. It took some last-minute heroics for the U.S. women's national team to pull even with Australia on Sunday night in Connecticut. The U.S. got a late header by Lindsey Horan in the final minute of regulation to tie the Aussies 1-1. Australia got the game's first goal in the 22nd minute of the foot of Chloe Logarzo, but the Americans kept battling and knotted the game late to force a draw. That kept the two teams tied atop the four-team tournament of nation standings. Earlier in the week, the U.S. women beat Japan 4-2, while Australia beat Brazil 3-1 at Kansas City's Children's Mercy Park. The final matches will feature the U.S. taking on Brazil and Australia battling Japan on Thursday. FC Dallas continues to be a thorn in Sporting KC's side this season as the team took a 3-2 win over Sporting on Saturday night. Michael Barrios finished with a trick for FC Dallas, forcing Sporting to try to rally late in the match. Sporting got a late goal by Daniel Shallowy in extra time, but the team didn't have enough minutes left to try to tie the game. Sporting KC provided us with these highlights of Saturday's match.
To take a few more chances and look for Akindele to join Urruti up front.
Away we go. Sporting blue and FC Dallas in red.
What they did in 15 and 16, what was it? I mean, every time they end July, they're at the top of the West.
Now the chase is on. Oh, and the shot from Gerso. He won that chase. The goal-scoring production from his team. As the chase is on here, and Barrios may win that chase. He's still there, and he's hooked it home. Michael Barrios, his first goal of the season. He looked second favorite to win the chase, but win it he did, and then he cashed in.
He's more worried about the pace of Michael Barrios. This ball's played right at him. If he plays the ball first time, lays it off to Matt Beasler.
Quite sure how he pulled that off, Barrios. Opara with the tackle. Urruti! Oh, Amelia! Sprawling save. That may well have been creeping inside the far post.
Into the final third, they looked the part, especially with Gutierrez on the field and Shallowy coming off. But it's when they get in these spots here, it's left to either a little moment of brilliance or a cross delivered in.
Gerso! Oh! That's fantastic! Absolutely fabulous! The Gerso show in Sporting Kansas City, back on level terms.
Gotten in good spots all night long, and they won Gerso Fernandez one-on-one with Pedroso, but how good is this? Tight spots, Ulloa comes over. Perfect technique, but then it's the play to finish it off. You get in this spot, then finish it off. Gerso Fernandez, you've done all the hard work. You've set yourself up, and now you've played Sporting Kansas City right back into this one.
Igler had all the angles sealed off there as Gutierrez tried to surge forward. They're asking Barrios to go again, and he's gone. Michael Barrios, oh, he's beat Timelia and pokes it through the legs of the Kansas City keeper, and Dallas are back in front. It is a double for Michael Barrios.
2017. Since then, he's been all over the shop, running the channels, playing off the back shoulder of Ike Opara and Matt Beasler.
Akindele with help from Cannon, and it's still up for grabs. Barrios, it's the hat trick! Michael Barrios having himself some game. And is this the night when FC Dallas finally bury their Sporting Kansas City hoodoo?
In bunches, over 16 plus games, Michael Barrios. Toronto could easily go on a 4 or 5 game winning streak, and they're right back in the thick of it.
Susi trying to get Sporting Kansas City right back into this game. We've seen him do that before this season.
I don't think he's coming here.
No. Last hurrah for the home team. Opara. Oh, he's given them a little bit of hope. It was Shallowy. Is there even time? to get this restarted. They've got it back to 3-2, 7th of the year.
Well, and it's all Ikapara. Watch Ikapara, the ball's delivered over his head. He stays active.
Trying to cut inside Pomykal. Zusi into the box. Apara towering to win it. But the final whistle goes and Dallas survive to claim their first win here in nearly 7 years. A massive win.
Sporting KC will try to get things back on track this Saturday when it travels to rival Houston Dynamo. Sporting hasn't won a match since June 23rd, which was a 3-2 victory over Houston. Since, Sporting has managed only 1 point in the last 6 matches, a tie with Toronto. That stretch also includes an Open Cup loss to Houston. A week after the latest season of Netflix's Last Chance U debuted, show officials have said the documentary will return to Independence Community College for Season 4. Indy jumped into the Jayhawk Conference scene last year under head coach Jason Brown, a Fort Hays alum. Brown guided the Pirates to a conference title in his 2nd season at the helm. While Netflix hasn't given the official okay yet, staffers at the Jayhawk Conference Media Day on Friday said the company will be following Indy again this year. The series, which followed East Mississippi Community College during seasons 1 and 2 before switching to Indy last year, has brought much more attention to football and junior college ranks. It might have only been for charity, but on Saturday night, the KU-Missouri basketball rivalry was renewed. Alumni from both programs took the court in Independence, Missouri, and KU walked away with a 109-101 victory. Former Jayhawk Brandon Rush scored 46 points to top all scores. It was his brother, Kareem Rush, though, who helped get the charity game back on track. It was an idea of his several years ago. He hopes to keep the game as a mainstay for both schools in the future. One of the greatest basketball players of all time is feeling overwhelmed. That's how LeBron James described the feeling of playing for the Los Angeles Lakers this season. James said, "This is kind of like a dream come true for me." In the offseason, James left the Cleveland Cavaliers and signed a 4-year, $153.3 million contract with the Lakers. The team hopes LeBron can turn around its recent struggles. LA has won 16 championships in team history, but not one since 2010. The Lakers have missed the playoffs in the last 5 seasons. That's all we have for this episode. Check back next week for another TMNtv Newscast. To stay up to date on the latest news and information throughout the week, visit TigerMediaNet.com. Until then, remember, roar Tigers.
The Tiger Media Network is Fort Hays State University's independent student media organization. It's a student employment opportunity where you can work for either the news side or the sports side. So you can be on live sports production, which produces all of the live sports broadcasts that we do, or you could be on the news side and do news stories covering things on campus. So presidential announcements, Student Government Association. We bring that news to the student community and the Hays community as well.
You don't realize how much Fort Hays State has to offer until you're here.
I mean, it is definitely, this is the land of opportunity here.
I just got back from the MIAA tournament in Kansas City a couple weeks ago where we worked with other production crews including Pitt State and Central Missouri. And it's a great time. I've gone there the last couple of years.
For me anyway, I get to do sports, which is what I love. And if live productions is where that's at, this is the perfect place to do it. We have almost everything that you could possibly imagine.
Tiger Media Network allows you the opportunity to take the skills you've learned and put them forward in a real-world, real application setting that allows you to flourish and grow as a professional, and that will only help you and benefit you when you graduate and go into the real-world workforce.